always say anarchy is a lot like ice cream. There's so many different flavors. You're bound to find something you like. And which is true, and because it runs the gamut from mutualism, which is very far left, to like ANCAP, which is like very far right. Right-wing populism, if you look at the history of populism, like a really good reference, I think, is Thomas Frank's book called The People Know. Right-wing populism is actually an oxymoron. It's not really a thing when you look at what populism actually was. That term's been kind of reassessed. It means different things to different people. I'm not opposed to people using it now. It's just the world we're living in. Like, people use it all over the world. Like even, I was just in Italy, like, you'll hear different things, labeled right-wing populism there. So I don't know. I know that it is honestly like a result of our postmodern world, but I also think it's, I think part of it is a result of the Overton window in the United States is so freaking limited. Yeah. That people just start making shit up because we all need something. So, I don't know. I'm always asked, well, what exactly are you? And if I had to pick.
What are you? What are you?
What are you?
I like you're a populist left. But yeah, what are you? Well, how would you describe yourself?
That tracks. I think like leftist would be like the most simple way, populist left. If I had to pick one I think socialist is definitely me. And I think as far as like transitioning the United States away from capitalism, I think a market socialist model would be the best way to go. Realistically, I would actually like to be a little further left than that. But, if we're being realistic, how to transition out of capitalism, I think like a market socialist model would work here pretty well, actually. So yeah, I guess that's what I am. But
I think we conflate economics with governance in terms of what's left and right, like what our political left and right is in this country. I've had people tell me you're so left, and I'm like, you have never even met the left. You've not seen the left. If I'm the left to you, you don't even know what that means. So like when we say left and right here politically, we think red, blue, Democrats, Republicans, like that. And or we think socially liberal, more socially conservative. So like when I hear the term populist right, what I noted that to mean, like when I talk to people like Osiris and people, what I think of are people that do believe in labor and populism and that type of economic justice. However, socially and in other ways, they tend to be more conservative as opposed to people more like us. That's what I would think. Like in terms, but I think the common denominator being the populism. But what Ron is saying, I believe, which is true from a, I guess, theoretical Marxist kind of perspective, populism and right, it is an oxymoron, because the concept is when you're on the left, you're about the proletariat. Like the left is where it's, and I'm not saying communal in terms of communism, but where it's the power of the people. And the further to the right is generally more authoritarian. Okay, so it depends on what spectrum we're looking on, right? Like we're kind of conflating economic and government systems. That's all I want. Like that, I think, is where it gets complicated for people.
My assessment. Yeah. No, go ahead, Assange.
Oh no, just real quick. I think it came out of necessity, because because right now people don't put Jimmy Dore and Steve Bannon in the same basket. So you would have to put them in the same basket to get rid of the left and right. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Peter?
Well, I think right now we're looking at a situation where there are a lot of issues that most people can come together on, particularly, and if we're talking about airing of political grievances.
Yes, we should start airing grievances.
The number one grievance I have with the U.S. Congress is this idea that they're going to pass this omnibus bill that is chock full of a whole bunch of bad stuff, and they want to highlight the 2 or 3% of it that's actually going to help desperate people. And they can see we're doing good things. We're also doing a lot of bad stuff, but we don't want to highlight that. We want to highlight these little trickles of these. What do you like to call it? It's like, may I have a
scraps?
May I have a scrap?
I'm focused on how you said omnibus, because when I was a kid, there was this really cool like indoor amusement park down in Miami called the Omni. It was like this little indoor, and it had this amazing carousel. And whenever I heard the term omnibus, I always thought it was like a bus to go to the Omni. Like, and I remember thinking, yeah, anyway. Sorry.
Well, the
it's omnibus. Omnibus.
Well, the Omni is actually where the Atlanta Hawks used to play basketball, but I digress.
Awesome.
I also think it's important to recognize that one of the primary issues that was supposed to be dealt with before the end of this session, the end of the Pelosi reign, and what better way to sort of highlight what a failure neoliberalism has been in this country. Most people generally agree overwhelmingly that we need to end the stock trading of our federal representatives. And the fact that that couldn't even get a vote, much less be included in this package.
Yeah, let's be clear. All the populists like that idea.
Yet apparently in this omnibus package, there's billions of dollars for corporate media. Omnibus.
You keep saying omnibus.
Isn't that what it's called?
I mispronounced it too.
It's omnibus.
Omnibus.
Yeah, like it's like a transformer thing.
Let's call it mega.
Okay,
bus.
I'm just making that up.
So anytime I hear Pelosi, I really, it goes almost to the top of my grievances.
Well,
like her alone can satisfy an entire, like I could do a whole night of just grievances about her.
Can't the whole working class of this country just unite around the fact that our government doesn't serve us? In case in point, we have legalized insider trading. That is so unbelievable.
Oh, something I found out last night. This is really interesting. Speaking of Nancy Pelosi. So shout out to our favorite candy store in Milton Manors, To the Moon. I was actually there last night, which is where I got my Festivus pencils. They carry Jenny's ice cream. And lo and behold, they have a relationship with the Jenny's ice cream people and they know things. So remember when Nancy Pelosi was showing off all her fancy ice cream during COVID from the ice cream, from her expensive freezer and everyone's like, she doesn't even pay for that ice cream. It's sent to her for free.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
It just gets worse.
I literally just found that out last night.
Maybe we could get Ben and Jerry's ice cream for free if we just start talking about it.
I don't need ice cream for free, but sure as shit, neither does she.
Now, what do you all think about? I heard AOC. I didn't double check this myself. I heard AOC voted against it. Is that true?
Haven't checked the votes yet. But it wouldn't surprise me. I mean,
what's good in it?
Guys, is there anything good in the package?
Well, I can answer that.
Okay, what's in it?
Well, here's an example. Well, I can't like speak to everything, but I think this is sort of a snapshot that kind of shows like what they did. One of the things that I really went to the mat for most of this year was a campaign for two pieces of antitrust legislation that really would have went very far in breaking up big tech. Two bills called OMA and ACOA. They would have stopped Amazon's practice of manipulating search results. Same with Google. And they would have ended Apple's pretty much monopoly on app stores and, charging alternative apps commissions and stuff like that. These bills were actually pretty popular. They were really good pieces of antitrust legislation. It would have been the best antitrust we've seen since the frickin' 1980s. And Chuck Schumer promised to vote, and he just was able to successfully wait out the clock. I mean, in our last Hail Mary attempt was putting this in the omnibus. Chuck Schumer didn't do it because he is totally compromised by big tech. Tons of Democrats and Republicans alike are, but Chuck Schumer's one of the kings. And, the buck stopped with him, so he was able to wait out the clock. But one of the things that they did in this package as sort of like, here's a couple crumbs, is they did give like a significant chunk of change to a bunch of antitrust agencies. So it's like, okay, that's cool then, nothing. But what are they going to do with it? What are they going to do with the money?
So you're basically, you're just perpetuating this idea that there is some form of resistance.
I'm not perpetuating any idea. I'm saying
you.
what they did.
No. By giving that side money, it's like that's what I'm saying. They're creating the Mick resistance. They're making it look like they're doing something when in fact they're not.
Yeah, they're throwing you like an inkling of a scrap. Like, so because they know they pissed a lot of people off by not having these bills because there was a hell of an effort around them. So they're like, well, okay, we were worried the votes weren't there for the bills, which is bullshit. The votes were there. But they're like, we're worried the votes weren't there for the bills. But I mean, look at all this money we gave to antitrust for them to, make sternly worded speeches when the cameras are on or whatever it is they actually do, because they haven't really stopped any mergers for a very, very long time. And now it's come to our groceries. So buckle in, U.S.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.